What's up, guys? Welcome back to another fucking god damn it! What the fuck? Alright, back here in the machine shop, we got trailing arms being machined right now, so they're making a bunch of noise, but we'll just try to talk through that anyway. So we got a new bandsaw. We're cutting a bunch of material to make uniball cups, so finally making our own uniball cups because we need like way too many of them. Got all material over here for that. More cool TRX parts. These are the front sway bar end links. We're packaging all these up right now to get them shipped out. Bunch of TRX parts ready to go. Some battery boxes ready to go. TRX leveling kits. TRX rear suspension kits. All these ready to ship out. Big trailing arm getting machined. So this is one right here. So some cool new features on this one. We did a little different logo badge right here. So you can see it's kind of raised up. Kevin did a great job programming these. All the tool paths, everything looks great. So this is basically side one, and then that's doing the top op right now. So that's basically hogging out all the middle to do the shock pocket. And then next step will be the other side, and then they're done. Those are going on Dan's truck. I got a bunch of Tacoma A-arms. Don't show too much of that, top secret. But Raptor arms right now. So we updated the program a little bit there. Bunch more surfacing, some angles here, tool paths, and a much better way to fixture these so we can make them a lot more efficiently than we were before. And this is the drop that comes out. So you notice we actually made the drop kind of pretty nice, and it's got the pull studs in it. So this is the section that comes out of here. You can see that. And we actually got a bunch of these. So these are all the drops, and they're already set up for the pull studs for the 5th axis tool setup there. So we're actually probably going to sell these because you could actually put the pull studs in here, put this in the machine parts or more fixtures out of it. So we made that to where we could use these in the future or sell them instead of just throwing this stuff away. See what the fab shop's doing. Oh, you could hear me again. Baja bug, you remember seeing it in here a while back. It's been on pause for a while, but we got the front end all assembled, machined the tie rods last night. Got all the front shocks in it. Chase is working on wrapping up the double shear on the rear trailing arm pivots. You can see like the door bars. It's got like a big X in there with a bend, so pretty much as tight to the door as we can get it. But I got the rear arms on there. Chase is working on the outer pivots now, so this will get welded all along the back. And then we'll actually box this in to the chassis. So it's got big beefy pivot there for the rear arms, because if you don't really kind of overbuild these pivots, these will just rip right off. This 1 3/4 tube right here is actually 250 wall. So 250 wall tube here. So if you do 1/8 inch, these tabs will just rip right off of the tubing. So, and then the inner tab will go here, and it'll tie in all the way to this tube and kind of gusset the whole junction together. We got the mock-up trans from Weddle. So that's a Mendiola S4 5D. So pretty big 5-speed trans there. We have our mock-up LS block here. So that's all done. Trans mounts, motor mounts, the back half's done. This thing was just sitting here pretty much from here back. There was nothing. There was no down bars coming back. And obviously the cab's not sitting where it should sit right now because we're working on the pivots. All the tube work's done. So once we're done tabbing out the trailing arm pivots, we'll do the shock mounts, and then this thing leaves. Rolled on out of here, and the customer will finish it from this point out. Be nice to get this out of the way because we got something new and special coming up that we got to get on the fixture table right away. Yeah, we got the white truck. I don't think we talked about that one in a little while. So we got all the hubs, brakes, all that stuff's on here. So everything bumped out. The 40's clear, full lock to lock. Everything's good. We're gonna start the hood, the clip mount next. We got the bedside mounts done. Well, almost done. You see there's a big gap here. So basically, I didn't want to kick the bedsides out and have this point be really wide. So we left the bedsides parallel to each other, and then, you know, just enough room for the 40 to clear. And then we're gonna have this fiberglassed in, and this will continue all the way to where it'll just be one seam right here at the door. So the bedside will, you know, open, or the bedside will just line up with the back door there. Got the rear mount here done, but obviously we didn't get the back from here to here done yet. So we're gonna make something one-off just to fit this truck, because you've seen before we do like the billet mount. So we'll probably do something similar to that, something that just works for this truck. We got the grill and lights ready for it so we can, you know, get the clip done. Yeah, just button up all the little tedious things so we can take it apart, get it sandblasted, powder coated, painted, etc., and then anodized, all the parts anodized, all that stuff, and then we can start final assembly and start going from there. So this one's pretty close to the point to where it can leave for a few weeks, go to powder coat and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, let's go check out the tube chassis race truck. So some pretty big progress on this thing. We got new lower arms all welded up. We got it mocked up on the truck, got the bushing pivots tacked in. So next we'll pull the lower arm back off. We'll get the lower pivots welded. We'll get the uniball cups welded. We'll get all the 90 thou overlay and uniball cup and bushing pivot wraps welded up, which we got done for the Tundra, so I'll show you those. Next up, we're gonna machine all the steering parts, because all these trucks get a swing set steering with the billet steering box from Power Steering Solutions. So all swing set on all these, all billet, so there's no fabricated parts for the steering. Everything is 100% machined. Coming along to the back here, got the TubeWorks rear end in there, all tabbed out. So TubeWorks trophy truck rear end. This has got our 60-inch trophy truck trailing arms. And then we got our upper links in there, which are also machined. So those are 2-inch solid aluminum for the upper links. And we actually got all the shocks for this thing. They're sitting in the parts room. So the rear takes a 3.016 coilover, and then a 4.5 18-inch stroke 7-tube bypass. So yeah, 3.045 in the rear. The front's a 3.040 with a 5-tube bypass, and then 2.5 bolt-in bumps in the back, and then 2.5 regular 2.5 shorty bumps up front. Next up, we're gonna laser cut the shock mount, get all the shocks in this thing, and then it can technically be a roller at that point. So we got all the hubs and brakes for this one as well, all the wheels and tires, Innovate wheels on 40-inch BFGs. So pretty much everything's just on 40s now. So it's pretty much our go-to. Pretty excited about getting this thing on the ground and seeing the front end on it for the first time. So pretty cool. But yeah, we'll show you the front end on the Tundra, which is the same front end as this thing. So this one we actually had some mock-up, like 4.5 and 3.0. So it's a 4.5 bypass and a 3.0 coilover. And we put these on here to check fitment, and they do fit everything, so that's gonna work nice. We got some removable tubes up front to help us get the headers out, because I wanted all these chassis tubes right where they were, and once we get a firewall in here, there's gonna be no way to take that header out. And I didn't wanna have to like unbolt the header, lay them out, pull the motor, and then you can get the headers out that way, which some trucks are like that. You gotta put the headers in, kind of lay them out, and then drop the motor in, then you can bolt them together. But I wanted more accessibility than that. So we went with this route with some tube clamps and some removable tubes. So now all that will be able to slide out the front easily. And then lower arms, Evan wrapped up the lower arms. So we got uniball cups, overlay plate, uniball wrap, bushing pivots with overlays. Next up, we'll do some tabs for brake lines, and we'll hard line the lower arm. But these lowers are pretty much, you know, 100% done, ready to go back on the truck. And then now that these are all in and welded and everything's done, we can start doing the firewall. All right, then D90 over here. So we got it over here to where we can work on it easier. We got the front end just strapped up right now, but we actually were working on the motor mounts, getting these kind of gusseted, and see this like double shear overlay plate. So it welds on here, and then it press brakes this way and then welds over the frame. So that's like a solid piece there to kind of gusset those in. This thing has a lot of power. And I didn't want those motor mounts just, ripping themselves off the frame. 1,000 horsepower and a heavy foot, that motor's gonna wanna be torquing a lot. I was about to put the motor in, and then I decided to do that first. So now that that's done, now the motor can go in, exhaust can go back in. We'll put the radiator back in, we'll do the water lines, and then I'm thinking about doing a split intake. So off the supercharger, we'll come across each side with a 4-inch tube, and then probably have another bend, and then have the filters kind of underneath this area. And for here, we're gonna draw our own panel to go in here, our own mesh panel and then we'll cut it out on the laser. So it'll be like a mesh panel. I'm not sure what pattern yet, and then the filter will be here. So it'll, want to draw in some cold air from outside instead of hot air off the radiators or intercooler or anything like that. And yeah, once the motor and trans is back in, we're gonna sort out the dry sump. Then I'm probably gonna plumb this whole vehicle before we send it out for powder coat and all that stuff. So if I want to do any bulkhead tabs or any sort of tabs or brackets anywhere, we don't have to, drill and tap into the frame and kind of bolt them on that way through the powder coat. So we'll weld everything in and it'll be set. So once it comes back from powder coat, plumbing will just drop right back in. And then over here, we got a big pile of shit over here. So this is our buddy Eric, his F-150. So it's not a Raptor, it's F-150, same thing. Basically getting the same back half that we did on that gray Raptor that we showed you that we built a while back. Doing this one a little different. So instead of taking the stock frame, cutting all the junk off of it and smoothing it out, filling in all the holes, welding plates over it, and just getting it to a point to where we can build off of it, we decided to just make our own set of frame rails. So you cut the back of the truck off at a certain point, and then basically our frame rails just tie in. So right now you can see it's just tacked, but we built all this flat, square on the fixture table, along with the bed cage we showed you, built those in the fixture table. We cut this truck, we drove this truck into the shop basically yesterday morning, and then here it is now. So we're almost 2 days into it, and we got everything pretty much ready to start getting welded and go back together. And another cool thing that I came up with, because we'll probably end up making fixtures for the whole chassis, like the whole OEM chassis, to go on the fixture table with the back half, just so it's easier for us to line it up. But I wanted a way to level out the truck just with jack stands, and obviously with regular jack stands, you don't have that, small adjustments that you can make. So we actually designed these. We made our own adjustable jack stands. So we always see us use the big tall pipe stands. So we took the top off of the pipe stand and then made our own base for it. So we can get, from like a 15 to like a 22-inch height. So on these pipe stands, you're limited to something being this high off the ground. So that's why we made, that thing short. So then we just take this top off of these pipe stands and use it in those, and then we can, get all of our adjustments, and that way we're able to level out the truck front, back, and side to side. And just another cool tool that we made with our tools. I'm sure next time we show you this truck, it'll probably have the bed cage, and all the rear suspension pretty much done. All the billet parts are out at anodized. The fuel cell's right there on the table, so that's done. Fuel cell right here, and I want to say our F-150 Raptor fuel cell ends up at 42 gallons. So this is under the bed, all the way at the back bumper. It takes the OEM module here. So Pyrotech builds this for us, utilizing the factory plate here. So this will plug in like stock, and then we'll tie these in to the fuel system, and then the dash will read correct. When you key on the fuel pump, everything will just work like stock. And then fuel cell cradle's over there. Pretty much we knew this was gonna come in at a certain date. We just been, bench welding all the parts previous to the truck coming in, and now the truck's here, all the parts are all ready to go. Shocks are ready to go. All the billet parts are at anodized, so we won't really have to hand make anything to get this truck on the road, minus, modifying the bed a little bit, because we are gonna put 40s on it. So we probably have to do some clearancing there, and then clearance for the sway bar. Much easier way to build a truck. So basically the money that he would save on labor with us modifying the factory frame, you pretty much spend that on our new section of frame, and then it's already done. So, and it's stronger because it's all chromoly and TIG welded. Just a cool way to build it back to the truck. All right, that wraps it up here. Another week at Kibbetech. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, like and subscribe and keep up to date with what we got going on. The more you watch the videos and tell your buddies, the easier it makes it for us to make these for you. So tune in next week and see what we got going on.